Welcome to a fascinating dive into one of America's most intriguing geographic mysteries. Ever wondered why vast expanses of the United States remain practically empty, as if holding secrets that few can unravel? You're not alone in this curiosity. This video will unveil a demographic phenomenon that has puzzled researchers, economists, and travelers for decades. While cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago explode with population and development, enormous regions of the country remain desolate, untouched by urban sprawl. The answer is far from simple or one-dimensional. It involves a complex web of geographic, climatic, economic, and historical factors that have shaped the destiny of millions of people across generations. Consider this stunning fact. Approximately 50% of America's population concentrates in less than 3% of the nation's territory. This striking disparity raises profound questions about what makes a place habitable and desirable. Why do some regions flourish while others languish? What drives people to abandon their roots and migrate toward metropolitan centers? Throughout this exploration, we'll examine 10 states facing the most significant demographic challenges today. These states represent a mirror of the modern American dilemma. Landscapes of extraordinary beauty coexist with severely limited economic opportunities. Understanding these dynamics offers invaluable insights into regional development, urban sustainability, and America's future trajectory. This journey transcends mere statistical analysis. You'll discover stories of resilient communities, pristine wilderness areas, and the invisible forces continuously reshaping America's demographic map. From brutal climate conditions to geographic isolation, from economic stagnation to limited infrastructure, these factors interweave to create patterns that define where Americans choose to live and work. Our exploration begins with the 5 least populated states in the nation, each presenting a unique profile of challenges and distinctive characteristics. Wyoming leads this list with approximately 600,000 inhabitants, spread across immense territories of Rocky Mountains and desert lands. The sheer vastness of the state is almost incomprehensible, with communities separated by hundreds of miles. Brutal winters with temperatures plummeting below -30 degrees Celsius and arid summers have historically challenged pioneers and continue doing so today. Vermont, situated in the iconic New England region, maintains a population of roughly 650,000 residents. Despite its renowned natural beauty, featuring dense forests and picturesque mountain landscapes, the state confronts significant economic challenges and persistent rural exodus patterns. Limited employment opportunities, particularly outside Burlington, create a consistent migration pattern toward more technologically dynamic states. Alaska represents an extreme case of geographic isolation, with approximately 740,000 inhabitants scattered across an area larger than most European nations. This frozen state experiences severe climatic conditions, extended winter darkness lasting months, and extraordinarily elevated cost of living across most communities. Despite abundant natural resources including oil and fisheries, logistical difficulties maintain population at minimal levels. North Dakota, with roughly 800,000 residents, concentrates primarily in a few major urban centers. The remainder consists of vast plains, hostile continental climate, and an economy historically dependent on agriculture and resource extraction. Consistent migration toward warmer southern urban centers has intensified significantly in recent years. South Dakota faces similar demographic dynamics, with comparable populations struggling against rural decline and urban concentration. Its iconic landscapes, including Mount Rushmore and the Badlands, attract millions of tourists annually, yet fail to retain permanent populations due to structural economic limitations. These 5 states share common characteristics: profound geographic isolation, challenging climatic conditions, economies built on traditional resource-based sectors, and absence of dynamic urban centers capable of functioning as population magnets for educated workers and ambitious entrepreneurs seeking advancement opportunities. Continuing our comprehensive analysis, we examine the next 5 states, completing our list of the 10 least populated, each confronting distinct obstacles and unique opportunities. Maine, renowned for its rocky coastlines and maritime traditions, maintains a population of approximately 1,300,000 residents. While offering respectable quality of life and stunning natural beauty throughout most regions, the state suffers from economic stagnation outside principal coastal centers. Limited employment opportunities in sectors beyond fishing and seasonal tourism drive younger, talented individuals toward more prosperous regions. Montana, situated in the northwestern region, has approximately 1 million inhabitants distributed across enormous expanses. Known as Big Sky Country, the region combines extraordinary wilderness beauty with severely limited infrastructure development. Extremely rigorous winters, vast distances from major metropolitan areas, and an economy centered on natural resource extraction restrict sustainable population growth potential. Rhode Island, despite being the most densely populated state per square kilometer, still qualifies as one of the least populous in absolute numbers with roughly 1,100,000 people. Its economy, historically dependent on manufacturing, underwent significant transformations, leaving entire communities in economic decline and unemployment. New Hampshire, with approximately 1,300,000 residents, depends heavily on immigration from other states to maintain current population levels. The state provides respectable quality of life and natural amenities, yet offers limited economic opportunities compared with more industrialized neighbors like Massachusetts. Delaware, the southernmost state in this second grouping, maintains a population of merely 1 million residents. Although it functions as a corporate headquarters hub due to favorable tax regulations, it fails to attract significant permanent residential population on meaningful scales. These 10 states collectively represent only a small fraction of total American population despite occupying substantial territorial expanses. Their stories reveal how converging factors of isolation, climate, economic opportunities, and infrastructure development determine demographic patterns across entire macro-regions. Understanding these patterns provides essential context for comprehending America's future development trajectory. To truly understand why these regions remain practically empty, we must examine the geographic and climatic factors that have fundamentally shaped their destinies and ongoing development. Topography presents the primary challenge in numerous states throughout this list. Rocky mountains, elevated plateaus, and rugged terrain historically made infrastructure construction expensive, time-consuming, and logistically complex. Consider that constructing highways through mountainous terrain or frozen tundra presents extraordinary economic complications that urban planners in developed regions rarely encounter. Climate represents perhaps the most implacable factor limiting population growth. Wyoming and North Dakota experience winters where temperatures plummet below -30 degrees Celsius, accompanied by devastating snowstorms capable of paralyzing entire communities for weeks. Alaska faces polar nights where darkness persists for months, alongside permafrost that renders construction practically impossible across vast areas. These climatic extremes create far more than personal discomfort. They elevate business operating costs exponentially and make daily life extraordinarily challenging. Heating, fuel consumption, infrastructure maintenance, and public health concerns become persistently costly challenges. Precipitation patterns also vary dramatically across regions. While some states endure brutal winters, others, like portions of Wyoming and Montana, receive minimal precipitation, creating desert-like environments where agriculture becomes constant struggle. Extreme seasonality in all these regions creates volatile economic cycles. During periods of adverse weather, economic activities simply cease, generating cyclical unemployment that demoralizes communities and encourages emigration. Historically, indigenous populations adapted to these environments through accumulated knowledge spanning millennia, but European-descended populations brought expectations of comfort and stability that these environments could not easily provide. Consequently, since the 19th century, these regions experienced demographic booms during resource exploitation periods, followed by decline when resources became depleted or economically unviable. Contemporary populations continue avoiding these regions for rational reasons. They prefer environments offering greater comfort and substantially lower operational costs. Geographic barriers prevent easy transportation, causing isolation that discourages business investment and personal relocation. These climatic and geographic patterns are not merely historical artifacts, but continue actively shaping modern residential decisions daily. The implications of this unequal demographic distribution reverberate throughout America's political, economic, and social structures in profound ways. First, population concentration in urban centers creates pronounced resource and political influence disparities. Smaller population states receive reduced federal funding allocations, despite often maintaining higher operational costs per capita. Rural communities deteriorate progressively, schools close permanently, hospitals consolidate into distant locations, creating service deserts where healthcare becomes inaccessible. Second, the environmental dimension deserves careful consideration and serious attention. While half of America remains practically empty, offering valuable natural conservation opportunities, this same economic void drives natural resource exploitation as survival strategy. Mining operations, petroleum extraction, and natural gas development frequently occur in these regions, creating persistent tension between environmental conservation and economic necessity for survival. Third, the cultural aspect cannot be overlooked or minimized in importance. Rural communities carry unique traditions, specialized knowledge, and distinct perspectives that progressively vanish when populations emigrate. That invaluable knowledge about environmental adaptation, economic ingenuity, and cultural resilience gradually extinguishes as communities depopulate. The future trajectory of these 10 states depends on factors transcending geographic determinism and simple environmental constraints. Climate change might render certain regions more habitable, while making others increasingly inhospitable and challenging. Technological revolutions, particularly remote work expansion and advanced digital communication, could potentially reverse long-standing rural exodus patterns dramatically. Investment in green infrastructure, sustainable tourism development, and creative economy initiatives offers genuinely promising opportunities. Communities achieving prosperity in these challenging regions frequently accomplish this by cultivating unique economic niches. Universities, research institutions, creative industries, and specialized tourism created opportunities that successfully retained population locally. The fundamental challenge persists: how to balance economic development with environmental preservation effectively, how to valorize rural lifestyles while providing comparable opportunities to those offered by major urban centers. These profound questions will ultimately define American demographic futures throughout upcoming decades. Solutions may emerge through innovation, policy reform, and renewed appreciation for regional diversity that characterizes this vast nation.